His mom and dad stood before him, looking worried. Jinwoo tried to smile. I think I had a bad dream. That's right. The bad dream was over. His sister was a little girl again. His mom was well, and his dad was there with them. He was given one last chance to fix things, and he wasn't going to waste it. He was going to change what happened next. His eyes showed he was determined. It felt like he had just come back, but a week had already gone by. He hadn't found the right moment to travel between worlds yet. He leaned his chin on his hand and stared out the classroom window, lost in thought. Murao called to him. My king. He understood. Jinwoo knew that powerful beings who wanted this world were probably opening a large gateway somewhere beyond the sky right now. After a very difficult fight, this felt like a quick rest.
Couldn't he enjoy the quiet for a little bit as a reward?
Jinwoo was interrupted from his thoughts by a good sound. Ding dong. Ding dong. It was the bell signaling the end of the day. The tired children quickly became full of energy. Jinwoo felt happy too. He was actually 25 years old, but his body was now like a 14-year-old again. After saying goodbye to their teacher, some boys with short haircuts gathered around Jinwoo. Hi, Jinwoo, are you coming to the internet cafe? They were very excited, and Jinwoo smiled and nodded. Great. Yes. Jinwoo is playing with us today? Okay, wait, what are you saying? He was on your team yesterday. But we also had Jongsik, a player who wasn't very good. Oh, that's okay. We'll take both Jongsik and Nimpyo too, if we can have Jinwoo. Let's decide with rock, paper, scissors. Okay. Jinwoo had shown everyone how quickly he could react, and how well he understood the game when they were playing a popular online multiplayer game. At their age, being good at video games meant you were popular with the other boys, so everyone wanted Jinwoo on their team. The first competition to see who got Jinwoo turned into a longer one. The girls who didn't like video games thought the competition was silly. In the back of the classroom, a boy secretly watched everyone else as he quietly got ready to leave. He enjoyed playing video games, but found it difficult to make friends. He often watched other kids having fun together, and wished he could join them. Jinwoo smiled a little to himself. He realized he understood things better now than when he was younger. Was it because he was older now, or did he just notice things more? This classroom felt like a small world full of different feelings all mixed together. Yes, the kids on Jinwoo's team cheered loudly, not worrying about what others thought. Jinwoo shook his head quietly. No wonder girls sometimes think boys don't understand things. The winners gathered around Jinwoo, smiling happily. Let's go, Jinwoo. Jinwoo pointed to the back of the classroom. I want to work with him. What? The other boys looked at the quiet kid who was packing his bag. He stopped and seemed frozen when he noticed everyone looking at him. What? Me? Yeah, you. Seeing the boy look unsure, Jinwoo smiled at him. Why? You don't want to? No. I do. The boy smiled a little shyly. Jinwoo picked up his backpack. Then let's go. The boy nodded as he put on his backpack. Yeah, Jinwoo laughed. Just a little bit. Jinwoo wished things could stay the same for just a little while longer. If nobody was hurt by it, could he enjoy these moments for one more day? He really hoped so. He walked out of the classroom with his friends, and his steps felt both light and heavy at the same time. The sky turned red as the sun went down behind the hill near the school. Jinwoo paused for a moment to look at it. His friends called out to him. Jinwoo, what are you doing? There won't be any seats left if we hurry. Ugh, they were always telling him what to do. I'm coming, he said. He quickly walked to catch up with them. The boys talked excitedly about the big game coming up. Jinwoo felt happy and eager with them, even though he wasn't saying much. As he walked down the street with these friends he hadn't seen in a long time, Jinwoo smiled widely. Since going into the strange space between worlds, Jinwoo had started doing something new. He began writing down everything he noticed that day. He wasn't doing it for a big purpose like writing about a battle against the monarchs. The opening between worlds was empty like a place of peaceful sleep. This empty place was filled with only darkness, and it was difficult to stay calm when not fighting. But Jinwoo wasn't writing in his journal simply because he was bored. Being able to live through these years again showed him that people's ideas and feelings can change over time. He understood. He remembered details he hadn't noticed before. Jinwoo wondered what he would think when he read his journal much later. After his memories of this time faded, would he be ashamed? He had written in a diary. Would he feel sad about not trying his best? Or maybe he would even miss this long and difficult war. So he kept writing in his journal whenever he had a chance. The sound of his pen moving across the paper filled the quiet darkness around him. He suddenly laughed. He wondered if he would be sad about what had happened. He looked at all the bodies lying around. Jinwoo had won another fight by defeating the Transfiguration Monarch, who had been a strong opponent. 27 years had passed since he first entered the special world. The long and difficult war was almost over. Only the Dragon King and his destructive army remained. He was excited about going home soon. It felt good that time passed differently for him than for people back home. Around 2 years would have gone by for those waiting for him. How different would Gina be now? How were his parents doing? Jinwoo wondered if he should have told his family more about everything. He had many worries going through his mind. No, Jinwoo told himself. He needed to focus on writing the last part of his journal. Just then, Bellion walked up to Jinwoo and bowed respectfully. My lord, it is finished. We made sure no enemies were left alive. The shadow soldiers returned from the battlefield to report that everyone who fought against them was defeated. He looked at his army, who were waiting for him to tell them what to do next, as they stood before Jinwoo. Jinwoo had stopped counting the enemies a long time ago. He smiled and closed his notebook. Good. He put the notebook and pen away in his special storage space, and climbed down from the pile of defeated enemies he had been sitting on. He was excited to finally meet the one being who might be strong enough to defeat him, now that he was the Shadow Monarch. He had won the war with help from the rulers, but Jinwoo hadn't really defeated the Dragon King. He wouldn't lose again. Jinwoo's eyes shone with determination, and his heart beat faster with excitement. Boom, 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 boom. Listening to his heartbeat, Jinwoo realized he might even miss this fight when it was finished. Jinwoo turned toward where the Dragon King's power was coming from, and called his soldiers to prepare for the last battle. Stand up. At Jinwoo's command, new shadow soldiers rose from the many fallen bodies. Jinwoo's 3 strongest warriors, Bellion Baru and Igris, were right behind him. The other generals stood behind them, and a huge army waited ready to fight. Even though there wasn't a breeze, it felt like a war was about to begin. Jinwoo closed his eyes, and took a deep breath. When he opened them again, he said the words that meant the war was about to end. It's time to defeat the Dragon King. The Dragon King felt a huge group of soldiers coming toward him. It was so many, he couldn't even count them. At first, the Shadow Monarch wanted to attack quickly, and then run away. But a while ago, he decided to fight them directly. Instead of chasing Jinwoo, the army of chaos was now the one running away. Soon, only the army of destruction was left, and it was clear where the Shadow Monarch would attack next. This would be the final fight. The Dragon King had never imagined the end would depend on a battle between 2 powerful leaders. However, it made sense that he was still very angry when he remembered his fight with the Shadow Monarch from many years before. One of his helpers carefully walked up to the Dragon King. Sir, the Dragon King crossed his arms and said, Yogmont is dead. The helper was surprised to hear about the Transfiguration Monarch's fate, and looked down. My lord, maybe you should step back. No. The Dragon King showed his teeth, and a strong angry feeling filled the air around him. I am tired of running from the enemy. I will fight him right here. The Shadow Monarch had been chasing the soldiers of the other monarchs for over 20 years. They didn't want to give the enemy army time to get ready again. If they couldn't get away from Jinwoo's attack, the Dragon King wanted to finish the fight now. The Dragon King made up his mind. Get ready to fight. The enemy army heard his order and responded quickly. Roar. The dragon creatures, old dragons and wyverns stood tall and let out a huge roar. Here they come. The Dragon King turned around because he felt a lot of power coming closer. It was easy to see how the Monarch's armies had lost to the Shadow Monarch. It was a really smart plan. The Monarch soldiers just couldn't follow what the Shadow Army was doing, because Jinwoo could move his soldiers anywhere he wanted. The Shadow Army could get close or move far away really quickly, no matter how much distance there was. The Dragon King saw exactly why they were losing. The Shadow Monarch stood up from the darkness, and millions of strong soldiers appeared with him, all covered in shadows. The Shadow Monarch, even the Dragon King was surprised by how powerful the Shadow Army seemed. After many years, the army was stronger than ever before. The Dragon King laughed. Amazing. Really amazing. Oh, King of the Dead. Things had changed a lot since they last met. The army of shadows was now bigger and stronger than the army of destruction. I didn't think you could defeat our whole army. I didn't know you could become so powerful. Wearing dark armor, the Shadow Monarch looked at him without speaking. He had grown more powerful as the Shadow Monarch, much stronger than he used to be. His instincts as a dragon began to awaken, and he wanted to defeat his strong opponent and claim victory. But he wasn't sure if these feelings would help him or cause trouble. He just wanted to enjoy the moment a little longer. Thankfully, the Dragon King had a question he needed to ask. Tell me, why did the rulers use the cup of reincarnation? Why did they bring back the monarchs and soldiers who had died? The Dragon King had been defeated and killed by the rulers. He clearly remembered the hurt from the spears that had pierced him that day. Their leader being gone would surely cause the army of chaos to fall apart, and the long war between the monarchs and the rulers would finish with the rulers winning. Even the most powerful rulers had to agree they had been completely beaten, but for some unknown reason they had brought everyone back to life, including the Dragon King, by using a special cup to turn back time. Since then, the Dragon King had been trying to figure out why they did that, but he couldn't find an answer. So, he had to ask the Shadow Monarch, who supported the rulers. It was my idea. The Dragon King was very surprised by this answer. What? Jinwoo explained slowly and clearly. I asked for this. I asked the rulers to use the cup of reincarnation, because I wanted to be the one to defeat you. The Dragon King thought this was crazy. He almost yelled a string of insults but stopped himself. The Shadow Monarch used a powerful and dangerous tool to go back in time. He did this so he could fight a huge army of 10 million soldiers with only 100,000 of his own troops. It didn't seem logical, but now the Dragon King understood why the rulers had used the cup of reincarnation, and why the Shadow Monarch had been acting so quickly. There was no better reason. He laughed and laughed, shaking his head because he couldn't believe it. The Shadow Monarch wanted to fight all the armies alone, and he had actually trapped them. The Dragon King had to admire the Shadow Monarch for doing something everyone thought was impossible. The Shadow Monarch was now at the last difficult part of his plan. Would he be the hunter or the hunted? For the first time, the Dragon King wanted to know who he was fighting. Antares. That was the name given to him by a powerful being, and he had never told anyone until this moment. That is my name, the Dragon King said with sincerity. What is your name? The Shadow Monarch finally answered the Dragon King's last question. Jinwoo Sung. The Shadow Monarch then asked, do you have anything else you want to say? A dark power surrounded Jinwoo, like a cloud of shadows. It was simpler to summon it in the space between worlds because that place felt like a peaceful resting place. The shadow soldiers answered their leader. Rosh. The whole shadow army shouted. The Dragon King smiled when he heard them. What more was there to say? What else did he need to tell everyone at the grand feast prepared for him? Nothing at all. The Dragon King and Jinwoo both changed into glowing forms, one like a fiery dragon, and the other like a huge figure made of darkness. The two mountains stood facing each other. Roar! The Dragon King's loud roar shook the ground, and his army of destruction rushed forward. Jinwoo quietly pointed, and immediately, his army of nearly 10 million soldiers moved, all while he ran quickly toward the Dragon King. This meeting with the Dragon King meant the end of a very long war. Jinwoo had been waiting for this important moment. A scary glow appeared in the Dragon King's mouth. It was time for Jinwoo to show him everything he had learned from fighting in both worlds. Time seemed to slow down as Jinwoo focused all his attention on the Dragon King. Just as the Dragon King released a powerful blast, Jinwoo gathered dark energy in one fist and swung. In the space between worlds, light and darkness crashed together again. People all across the United States were very worried about a prediction made by someone who could see the future. The psychic had said the god of death will soon come to this land. Usually, people would ignore predictions that sounded like something from a comic book. This prediction came from Norma Selner. 2 years before, Norma Selner had begun to have visions. People talked about her because she correctly predicted things that happened, like the death of a leader in North Korea, a plane being taken over by terrorists, and a big drop in the stock market caused by problems with housing. That someone so respected would predict the end of the world was very important news. The media called Mrs. Sellner the never-wrong prophet, and after she made her announcement, everyone wanted to interview her. But she said no to all requests except one. She called a reporter she knew and told her this: "The god of death will come to this planet with a huge army. Everyone eventually dies, and there's no way to avoid that. It's like running from something you can't escape." The very next day, a huge dark opening appeared in the sky above Seoul. Mrs. Sellner's prediction was then reported in newspapers all over the world. Inside that opening, Jinwoo was surprised as he looked down at the people below him. Everyone seemed to be there, watching. Oh, it would be nice if they were cheering for his return. But Jinwoo knew that wasn't going to happen. Soon the gate would open. It was scary for people who didn't understand it. But for Jinwoo it was a way back home. Home. He was eager to return. Was this the first time he had looked through a gate from this side? The gate was clear, so he could see people collecting below him. He touched the barrier between them. He had broken through strong barriers before to fight the Dragon King. Now he only needed to push gently to break this wall. It would be easy to get through without much effort. He thought about quickly destroying the barrier and going through, but he shook his head and smiled. He shouldn't do that. The people standing behind him were already frightened, and he didn't want to scare them more. Also, Jinwoo had waited for this moment for almost 30 years, so he could definitely wait a few more days. As he lowered his hand from the barrier, he noticed something. Just a moment. These hands did not belong to a typical 9th grader. They were much too large for a teenage boy. Jinwoo had become like a grown man during the 27 years he spent moving between worlds. His body was now older than his father's. Only 2 years had passed since he disappeared from the world he knew. He needed to change how he looked so his friends and family wouldn't be too surprised by the sudden change. It wasn't about wanting to look younger, not at all. I guess I don't have another option. He looked at his body and smiled, then used his special abilities. Now that he could use the Shadow Monarch's power easily, things like getting older, being sick, and even life and death obeyed him. Jinwoo quickly changed into a middle school student. A bright light flashed, and the man with a beard became a boy with a cheerful face. The dark smoke cleared and his clothes changed back to the school uniform he had worn when he left. That was good, wasn't it? He looked like a normal student to everyone else. He felt strong and ready to go home and see his family. He only had to wait now, 2 more days, because his long journey was finally ending. Jinwoo actually enjoyed waiting for the gate to open. Ha, look, it's opening. The hole is opening. People shouted and pointed at the gate. Eek. The gate opened, but it revealed nothing. What's going on? Is that it? People had come from all over the world to watch the gate. They were confused as the gate began to disappear. Meanwhile, on a quiet street, Jinwoo turned off his ability to hide. Everyone was looking at a gate that was disappearing, so no one noticed the new student who had just arrived. After watching the crowd for a moment, Jinwoo decided to go home. He saw a young man with a beautiful bouquet of flowers. The man gave Jinwoo a friendly smile. "Welcome back, Mr. Jinwoo-sung. Or should I call you the Shadow Monarch?" Jinwoo had never met this young man before, but he didn't feel like the man wanted to cause trouble. "It doesn't matter what you call me." Jinwoo chuckled quietly as he took the flowers. "It's good to have someone happy to see me return." He smelled the flowers and then looked up. The man sounded surprised. "Actually, I didn't think you could get rid of all of them. I can feel the strength of so many soldiers with every step you take." The monarch's armies had lost and creatures of chaos were now like hidden soldiers. Jinwoo was now the strongest being among both the monarchs and rulers. Jinwoo put down the flowers. "I don't think you came just to give me flowers. What do the leaders want from me?" Even though he sounded strong, Jinwoo seemed calm. He didn't need to be afraid of anyone weaker than him. He already knew what was happening, but the great power from the recent war still made him feel uneasy. Someone weak can only be afraid of someone stronger. Before the powerful, important man, the other man lowered his head respectfully. "I have a message from the leaders, sir. It is quite long, so should we go somewhere else to talk?" "Okay." Jinwoo walked ahead with a smile. "I just remembered something I needed to get anyway." The young man looked down at the ice cream in front of him. "You wanted to get ice cream?" Even though Jinwoo looked different, he still liked the same things. He explained that if you are alone for a long time, you really start to want something sweet. Jinwoo ate his ice cream happily. The cold sweet taste felt good on his tongue. He finally realized he was home. Jinwoo finished his ice cream before letting the other man talk. So what do the powerful people want? The man who had been watching Jinwoo eat quickly gathered his thoughts and spoke. Okay. First, I want to say we are very sorry to bother you. But let's get straight to the point. The leader sent someone to this place, and Jinwoo wanted to know what was going on quickly. He asked, "Did something happen?" "Not exactly," was the reply. "I came to see you because all the issues are now fixed." Was everything really resolved? The man felt nervous as Jinwoo looked at him closely. But the messenger had a duty to perform no matter how scared he was. He began to speak with some effort.